Hi guys, welcome back to the video. In today's video I'm just going over my opinion on the market. I'm trying to do this as much as possible at the moment on YouTube to really help people understand things like that, my fundamental analysis, my technicals, and really like help people to understand really how to trade and how to look at the market as a swing trader. So yeah, I mean, first of all, the first thing I'm looking at and is the trades I'm in. That's the first thing to do when you come onto the. I'm coming onto the screen for the first time in like 24 hours. So this is the first thing that I would do when I look at the scene. It's like, how are my trades going? So I'm in this pound USD trade, and it's 6:05 p.m. in the UK. So we've on a Friday as well. So we've got the weekend tomorrow. So I'm thinking about here. Well, do I close? Do I? I've gone to break even, so we've got a risk off trade here, which is the first thing, which is important. We've also are very, very far from our spot here. So my first option is, do I go to break even, pull up, do I trail my stop loss down here? And the reason I'm not going to is because unfortunately over the weekend we normally get new week opening gaps, like you can see here. And the reason I want to hold this trade is because and actually extend my TP to a lower TP is because of the conditions we have, and the really difficult thing about this is you have to be quite skilled in the market to understand about NWOGs or weekly gaps, because they're so difficult to read. Now we are in a time at the moment of war, so we have safe haven strength from the US dollar. So over the weekend, if we do have news about the war, which I'm sure we will see USD dollar strength, because on the market open on Sunday and throughout the weekend, we'll see large pushing of the US dollar from banks and institutions and traders entering positions on the US dollar, because everyone pretty much has the same sentiment that safe haven currencies strengthen in times of risk off sentiment, which is exactly what we have at the moment. So what's important is, yes, I could close here, and then save myself a possible loss where we actually gap up here and then we just keep fizzling up to break even. Not a loss, but we get break even, which would be a shame because I'm already nearly 2% down on this trade. Or because I know what I know, I think there's more of a chance we actually gap down here, because the US dollar is strengthening over the pound, because it's a safe haven and the pound just simply isn't. But this is where it gets tricky, because I'm also in another USD position. So now I'm thinking, well, if I do gap to the upside, I then put myself at risk of two positions, which is exactly why I will be closing USD JPY tonight, because I am very, very near to my TP here. I'm basically at a 1 to 8, 1 to 9. So for me, I will be taking this one because I'm in two positions already on the US dollar, and I do gap below, and then we see two fizzled out trades. I want to take my profit, and I'm happy to just sacrifice 0.1R to possibly gain more percentage in the long term by extending my TP on that pound USD. And that's just sort of my insight I have. Like, I'm sure people would disagree with me. That's completely fine. Say, well, hang on a minute. If you believe USD dollar is going to gap up, surely stay in both trades. Well, the thing is, like, yes, I think it will gap up. We are trading the markets, and anything can happen. So I would rather take my percent whilst we have. And in fact, I'm going to close right now. We have a screen live for people. And so, yeah, I'm closing right here now. So I have closed my USD JPY position here at the price of 159.620 by MT5. So I've managed to gain 1.9% really, or 1.88% to be exactly. 1.88% to be exact. Which is fine, that's exactly what I'm aiming for, right? So yeah, I'm happy to sacrifice that 0.1R for possible further, increased RR, because I've managed to save myself a loss possibly on USD JPY, and to extend my TP now maybe down to a 1 to 0.2, 1 to 2.5, and actually come out better in the process. So that's, I hope, where people can start thinking about what they're going to do in these situations, because they're very difficult situations to read. There's been plenty of times I've tried to hold trades, believe trades would gap up. They may do gap up about a bit, and then they just shoot up because for whatever reason. I can't tell you the reason always. But so that's what I've done. And if it goes on to my target, then that's absolutely fine. But I'm not too worried about that one. So what else am I looking at? Well, Euro AUD. Sorry, I've got one more position to look at, which is JER40. So this one, it's fine. I'm about to go break even. I'm going to keep it here though. Hasn't quite reached my target with break even. The break even point would be here. If we can close below this, I'll then go stop loss to break even. But this has been, fine. A fine trade, just in consolidation at the moment here. But again, indices I'm happy to hold throughout the weekend in war. That's not a problem for me at all. So yeah, but then you've got to think to yourself, well, what do happen if I don't have a war? Well, the possible thing is I would close, because I don't really have a bias going into the weekend on an indice pair, unless we just had really bad GDP figures on a Friday, for example. Then there's no real reason to hold that trade. But because we're in a time of war, if anything happens over the news which causes more risk off sentiment, then I'll be definitely wanting to hold this trade here. So yeah, Euro AUD. Well, this is a beautiful. I managed to get in this trade, ride this further. I could have held this for longer, but I was very happy to take 3% out of the market on something like this, which has also moved about 3% from my entry as well. So I am basically, trading with the results of the market, which is good to see. I'm not underperforming the market, I'm not outperforming it crazily either, but I managed to catch these moves. So here's another entry that I could possibly take. If we draw our fib tool from the high to the low here, we can see we're in a discount level here, especially the 0.618 level, which is in line with a level of supply as well, which is really nice here. And hopefully what I'll basically look for is a bounce into here, close below the 50 moving average, and then I'll get into the trade, which will be my entry criteria in this one. We got things like Euro USD. This has been a great market to be shorting, to be honest with you. I have managed to participate in this, unfortunately, but yeah, we also see some NZD weakness coming in here, and Euro NZD is now broken out of this channel, this trend line, which I've been monitoring. So I'm just monitoring the markets to see, like, well, what's happening. We see the NZD weakening. If we go to something like the NZD JPY, I can expect it to be weakening as well, like you can see here against the Japanese yen. This was not actually a trade I entered, but it was something I was looking at for sure. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at NZD. Then I'll be looking at the CAD pairs. CAD isn't really doing too much for me. I don't see much stuff that I'm interested in. The only thing I'll be really looking forward is for CAD to really come down to this level, maybe here on JPY. But the thing is with JPY is this is why everything's going in my head. I know 160 is the area of intervention. This is what I've been planning out for months. I've been planning this since January for 160. So I know CAD is this is just a trade which won't happen, and I'm sure it will reach this area. But if this is causing the intervention, then I definitely don't want to be in the market, because then I know that this will continue to plummet down, like we had over here, which is another area that we intervened in. Look what you can see right here. We can see we're near the area of intervention. The area of intervention is up here, which is when they intervened last time. This is the only real level we can go off to say, well, next time they could be intervening as well, around this level as well here, and they've been talking about it as well. So I'm very wary of that. And AUD looks to be pulling back, so I'll be saying that let's get in some AUD trades. We've got AUD JPY here with a nice possible re-entry if we can come down to this level here. Again, if you go bring out the fib level, from low to the high, we're in a level of discount, and that's all that I need to see. And then a close above the 50 EMA, and I'm happily entering the trade. So yeah, so what are my thoughts? Well, I've also taken some trades on my options account, mainly on indices here, so it's been quite nice. But I've made a video about this shorting the S&P, and I've had covered calls up here for a while, and that's been selling pretty well, and I've managed to take some profit on my Robinhood account there. But that's a video I made. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see be talking about. I don't post my options trading in my Discord or anything like that. If you want to join Discord, links in the description below. But I have this level of 160, 500 level, which is why I believe the S&P will either bounce from or break through it again. If we break through it again, I see prices going lower here. I really do. And then this will be the next support level that I'm interested in. And then we've also got the tariff lows here, which you can see. And I doubt we'll get to that low, but anything could possibly happen. But this was a really nice covered calls thing, because we're in a choppy market. This is markets I want to be trading options with, really, not trying to get it with a market order or anything like that, because it's just very difficult for me to trade this market. I have literally taken no indice trades that have been successful anyway. I've tried to trade the NAS and things like that, but I've been caught out every time, because price, you know, will dip lower than I think, or won't reach as high as I think, because we're in this consolidating market, and I normally lose. So it's been much easier to say, like, well, what's my sentiment? It's short. I don't really know when to get in, so I just trade options. And that's what my sort of strategy of options is. If I know the market's going to go lower, which I've been correct on this chance, then I'll trade options, because I don't really know where to put a stop loss or a take profit. And covered calls would be my sort of entry on something like indices here. So yeah, we've obviously had bad GDP figures come out today in the UK, about 0% growth in the UK this month, which is not surprising at all. And we've seen further drops in the FTSE 100, which I've got no idea where this is going to stop, to be honest with you. But we are starting to see some like support here, maybe, but yeah, this could go a lot lower. We don't really know. And I'm in shorts on GR40, like I've already said, on the DAX, which is just stuck in consolidation at the moment. So yeah, that's a short video about sort of my thoughts on the market at the moment, and the trades that I think could be going really well. This is the trade I was looking at, like I didn't enter this one. But the only other one I want to talk about is pound AUD just before we leave. This was the last trade I'm looking at currently, like right this second, and I'm just waiting for a bearish close here. We're still supported by the 50 EMA here, which is good to see. I missed the first entry today because I was out the whole day, which would have been here. So this should be my entry, and stop loss would have probably been around this point here, with TPs down quite far, and it's not an ideal trade. I mean, it's going to be difficult to find a TP on this one, because I don't really think price will get down to this level anytime soon. But yeah, if we can sort of somehow get a 4-hour close, then, you know, that would be sort of the entry I'm looking at on the 4-hour. Just because we come to a nice pullback again, are we in a level of discount? High to the low? Yes, we tap into the 0.5 level. This is when I want to be entering, holding the 50 EMA, 4-hour close, and I'm in. That's all my entry criteria is on the technicals, and the rest is fundamental. Why is the fundamentals strong for the AUD? Bad. GDP growth for the pound, which has actually showed a bit of bullishness because possible rate hikes in the UK, but at the moment my sentiment's still bearish on the pound. Strong AUD, inflation's high, reports are good coming into the Australian dollar, rate hikes are possible, and that's all I want to know to shorter market. To longer market, which is what I'm doing here. So I'll need to do a bit of research on the pound right now, just to see how the market's reacting to the GDP news, and then I'll type out something in my Discord, and then I'll enter the trade. But that's basically how I look at the markets. Again, I'm just trying to make as many videos for people to understand, like, how to read fundamentals, how to read technicals, how to read price action, how to use Fibonacci, how to use EMAs, how to use entry models, and how to sort of trade, really, and understand how to make money in this game. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. But thank you.